Since Colleen showed us tonight how to do the project recipe for Christmas cheer with traditional paper, I thought I would take a few moments and show how to do this digitally. So because I think that this actually has a number of features that we can use digitally using Artisan. So I wanted to show how to do that. So this is the project recipe that we were following. And if you notice, there's a paper used for the background. There's this gold paper that was used to cut a piece out that goes through the middle of the page horizontally, as well as they punched a border. And then they use this red paper as a frame or a mat for two of the photos, as well as a border strip down the side. So they give us a cutting guide, and there's not a whole lot to the cutting guide. But I'm going to go ahead and use this as my guide for doing this page digitally. The other thing to note is that they did a number of squares that were 1 3/4 inches out of both papers, and they ended up using the reverse side of them in order to make these turned on the side or turned on the angle and make these diamonds as kind of the part of the frame and border behind the nutcrackers. So I wanted to share that tonight. So I'm going to move this off of my screen. So I think you can now see my Artisan screen. And I am going to start with the building my border from the base up. So in order to do that, I'm going to insert a shape, which is a rectangle, and I'm going to go ahead and make this 2.5 inches by 12 inches. And that's going to be my first one. And I'm not going to worry about the color of it because I'm going to go ahead and change it to the Christmas paper when I get a little bit further. So that's the base of my border. And then I want to do that strip that was kind of going across the middle of my page, which was 9.5 inches long and 4.5 inches tall. I'm just going to fill this with a slightly different color so I can keep them straight as I'm working. And that's kind of the base of my page. And we can obviously move this up and down any way we want. We also are going to have a photo mat that is 4 by 6 inches. So it's actually 6 by 4. And I'm going to give this the same color as my border because that's the way it was. Okay. Now, if you remember what this looked like, here's what this is. I want to start building these little squares and then rotate them. So in order to do that, they were 1 3/4 inch squares. So 1.75 by 1.75. And now they're a square, but I want to rotate them so that they are turned at an angle. And now I can do it with the dial here, or I can just type in 45 degrees. And now I've got that. But I'm going to fill it with just a light gray to kind of be able to tell the difference. All right. And I've got the basics of everything that I need. So now this, I'm going to need 5 of these. So you can use the copy and paste buttons near the top. You could use the copy and paste using right mouse clicking, or you can just use Control C and Control V to get them and then lighten them up. And I'm not going to worry about putting them in the precise correct location because I am going to use my tools to do that. So I'm going to line them in the center, and I'm going to distribute them vertically. And now you can kind of see that they're not quite touching. So I'm going to go ahead and get the first one touching. And then I'm going to bring them back again, distribute them vertically. Okay, and you can see that one of them is going to hang off the end, or you'd have to overlap them. So either way, you can do that. You can have it going off the edge. If you would like to have it shrink a little bit, the magic of digital allows you to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and just make them fit perfectly. And then I'm going to have them centered on that border. So now I'm going to ungroup them. So actually it won't let me ungroup them. So I'm going to undo. And I am going to still ungroup. So I guess I will just leave these like this for right now until I'm done filling them in. What else did I have to do? So now I'm just going to go ahead and I am going to fill these with some of the paper. So I'm taking some of the Christmas cheer collection and I'm going to fill it with the ones that they used. So the background was the green plaid. These two were the red candy canes. And then they filled 3 of these with the stars and 2 of them with the words. Okay, so that's pretty much one side. And if I want to go ahead and put in my photo mats, I'm going to go ahead and, or my photos. One of them was 5.5 by 3.5, and that one got centered on this one. And then another one was 4 by 6. And another one was identical to this, so you can use copy and paste. So that is that. Now, since Creative Memories had in their original plan using this border punch with the Nutcracker, I don't really have an image for that. I decided what I wanted to try to do was to use one of the Nutcrackers that came as an embellishment. So I'm going to take this Nutcracker and I am going to shrink him down a little bit. But I want to lock his aspect ratio so he's still pretty much the same. So let's see, I think that's good. And then I'm going to copy and paste and I'm going to put line 4 of them up here. And I think they need to be a little bit smaller. Okay. So as I did some of this and played with them, I really kind of like these Nutcrackers, but they might be nicer if we had them outlined a little bit. So to outline them, depending on what you're doing, I'm going to use the outliner shape and I'm just going to put that behind him. And now if you can see, he's a little bit more defined as I zoom in. So you can see he's got a little bit more definition than the one below him. So I am going to just copy and paste. And I'm going to drag these down below. Oh, I've got one more than I need. So I'm going to put this one below this one. And this last one. So now they're all aligned and they're all below it. And through the magic of digital technology, I am going to recreate this one, but I want to do it as a mirror image because pretty much if you look at the original layout, you can see that the left and right pages are pretty much a mirror image of each other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one and I'm going to ask it to insert a mirror image of this page. And It'll take a moment. And hopefully it will finish going in a second. And now the second page is done. But I realize I forgot to put that paper in here. So this is this one. And I'm going to go back to the other one. And then I will fix that paper that I didn't have. And I'm just going to fill that in. And there we have our 2-page layout. So here are the 2 pages. I'll show them together. So this is how we can take the Creative Memories project recipe and use the digital software program Artisan. So here's our 2-page layout. I also did one of the other samples that they showed us, which is this one with the other papers that Sam had recommended that you could do this project recipe with. I'll show this one. So again, this one, I just used these borders that came with the digital content, but I think I probably would turn it and use a border, create a border using a nutcracker or a Christmas tree or something like that. And then I did this one, which I also really like, using the blue plaid paper. So hopefully that gives you some ideas of how you can take this traditional project recipe and make it your own, and using Artisan and the CM Christmas paper. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or any comments, just drop them below in the video, and look forward to creating with you next time. Thanks so much.